What up, world? It's Samadhi Media. I'm gonna discuss a few things. You know what I'm saying? This morning, um, Young Thug still in the news. Now he in the news for gossiping on the jail phone. You know what I was thinking? I was thinking like, damn, wouldn't it be genius if Thug was purposely like trying to get the news and the media involved in his pillow talk conversation? What if he was doing that on some go viral type shit? Wouldn't that be genius? It looks corny, you know, from everybody's point of view, because it looked like he's just pillow talking about folks and the third. And he is pillow talking about folks and all that. But what if that was his plan? What if he had planned that he just, I'm gonna do all this crazy talk, you know what I'm saying? And in that way, it'll hit the news and it'll blow up and go viral and all that. What if that was his intentions? What if he was planning all that? That would be genius if he was planning it. You know what I'm saying? But I really don't think he was planning it. I think he was just literally on there pillow talking. And I think that's feminine. You know what I'm saying? I heard another podcaster say that everybody gossips and talks about people and all that, but that ain't true. That if you think that way, that means you just hang around a lot of people that's gossip and act like bitches. If you think all men gossip and talk about other men and all that, if you think that, that means that the men that you hang around or you've been hanging around in your life been gossiping type men, which is sad because a gossiping man, that's a bitch. You know what I'm saying? All men don't, that's not true. All men don't do that. I don't do that. As far as me talking about somebody on here, that's about the only way that you're going to hear me ever speak on anybody's name is if I'm on here talking about it. I'm not, when I'm in my normal life, I'm not talking about these niggas, these rappers, this and the third, the other. When I'm talking to other people, I'm not talking about them. Unless, you know, I'm doing it for content. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not just dry in my own personal life talking about other people that I know in a negative light or a positive light for that matter. I'm not worried about the next motherfucker really. In my real life, I'm not really like spending any type of time on anybody other than myself or my kids. You know what I'm saying? So that ain't true. That's, if you think that all men gossip, that mean that you just been hanging around. That's just the type of men that you know in your life. You been hanging around a bunch of gossiping ass niggas your whole life. Or your family or your people that you know just gossiping ass niggas, which is sad because that's kind of feminine. You know what I'm saying? Like I got homeboys or associates. I got associates and people that I know, family members, should I say, that gossip. And it's every time I get around them, I try my best to like try to hurry up and get away. You know what I'm saying? Because that's be their whole thing. They just want to talk about other people and stuff. People that ain't there. Me, my thing is I don't really like talking about nobody that ain't there to talk back. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not gonna talk about somebody to somebody else if that person is not there to say, you know, their behalf on, you know, speak on the behalf of themselves. You know, I think that's dumb. It's painting a picture of somebody to somebody else when that person can paint their own picture. You know what I'm saying? And also I think that as a man, you shouldn't even be thinking about another man that much like that to that level to where you're going to discuss him when he ain't around. You know what I'm saying? A man shouldn't even be on your mind like that. Why are you even thinking of a guy that ain't there in front of you? Like, what do you pause? You know what I'm saying? Like, why is a man, another person, even a woman, why is another person on your mind that tough like that? To where you talking about them when they not even around. To me, that's kind of weird. It's like, you your own person. You have your own life and all that. Why would you be spending time talking about somebody else's life or whatever when you got your own life? I don't know. I just never understood that. The whole gossiping thing just never made sense to me. I don't know if that's just because I'm a masculine man. I don't know if it's because of that or just because of how I feel about shit. I can't even say I was about to say I was raised like that, but I can't even say that because I think probably my family, they probably gossip and shit. So, Thug is just constantly doing shit to make him look like a broad. Like, he's just constantly doing shit. But on his behalf, I am going to say this, though. When you in jail, because I remember I done wrote some letters to some people when I was in jail that was just on some wild shit. You know what I'm saying? And then when I thought back on the letter, or I read it again, or whatever, I was like, this shit is wild. Why the fuck was I even saying this? Because when you in jail, you go through like a phase where you just saying any goddamn thing. It's like it's almost like you in a delusional, you go through this like delusional phase where I don't know if it's a human thing or if it's a me thing or what, but I know I went through that too. A little, like when you in jail, you go through like a phase. When you been there long enough, you go through a phase where you be bitter and just like talking shit about, you do be talking shit about folks. You know, not necessarily gossip. Even if you just doing it in your head, you go through a phase to where you kind of just bad talking to everybody when you're in jail because it kind of feel like everybody done turned their back on you. So you just like, man, fuck these people. And you saying this, saying that. So you might not even really mean it, but at the time, you just in a position to where that shit gotta come out, and it's gonna come out whether it's negative, positive, whatever. So I think now Young Thug might just be a chatty patty, but I'm trying to give him a way out when I say that when you in jail, because that's true. When you're in jail, you do kind of go through a delusional phase where you just be running your mouth and shit. You know what I'm saying? I know I went through something like that, so maybe that's what he was doing. You know, you get on that phone and you haven't talked to nobody in a long time, you know, so that's a human connection. You talking to a human. So you might just be trying to get everything off your chest you can possibly get off because you actually got a human listening to you at this given time. So on his behalf, he could just be going through that little phase he might have been going through that little phase of the jail shit to where he just like damn near gave up, don't give a fuck. He's just gonna let anything go. And half shit he's saying he probably don't even mean it. You know, like I said, you just be in jail, be bitter, mad at the world and shit. None of that shit you probably wouldn't even say if you weren't in that position. You know, that position is making you bitter and mad and all that. So I know that to be a thing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna give Thug another way out on that one. Y'all was gonna keep giving the way outs. You know what I'm saying? But as far as him telling and all that, just everybody debating, well, because you always had like the street groupie type people that really don't know much about the street. They just kind of they called themselves in the street, but in reality they really wasn't. They was kind of like just like the cheerleaders of the street niggas and shit. Like the groupies of the street niggas and shit. So them type of people are extremely technical about all the street rules and the third because they don't know that. Because they was never making money in the streets or nothing. So they don't know that the real street niggas don't give a fuck about none of that stuff. That's all square talk and all that. All the street code and all this type of goofy shit. Snitching, you know. Was he technically snitching? He didn't, nobody went to jail. That's all groupie talk. Because real street niggas and real cats in the streets don't give a fuck about no technicality or no paperwork or none of that. The whole snitching thing. Cause I be hearing niggas say that, oh no, technically he didn't snitch because didn't nobody go to jail. That ain't got nothing to do with nothing. The whole point of the whole snitching thing. Let me tell y'all the point, cause a lot of y'all say like, y'all don't even know the whole point of why hood niggas or criminals or whatever you want to call them, why they don't like snitches. It's not a technical thing like that. Now when you in jail, it's probably technical. Because when you in jail, they reviewing your paper, the other inmates are reviewing your technical paperwork and all. That's how they know that you a snitch or not. They reviewing your paperwork. Cause you can say anything. You in jail now. You can say this, say that. You can say anything. So kind of the only way that they even have to be able to tell, or one of the main ways that they have to be able to tell, is your paperwork. So when you in jail, I could see why that would matter a lot. You know what I'm saying? Because that's like one of the only ways that you can really tell, because motherfuckers just say anything. But in the free world, don't nobody give a fuck about no paperwork. That's not real. That's fake. Because in the free world, okay, let's say I'm a big time drug dealer, right? Let's say I'm one of the biggest. I'm selling drugs. I'm passing out packs to all the neighborhood doughboys in the third. I'm the man. You know what I'm saying? Okay, now let's say one of my workers, some of my other workers seen him in the car with a police talking to the police. Okay, now he probably don't even have no paperwork on. He might not even never been to jail. He don't have no paperwork saying he snitched nowhere. He can't find no paperwork, none of that, saying none of that. But we did see him in the car talking to the police. So we're going to put him in the snitch category regardless if he got paperwork or not. The paperwork, that's just another way to tell if somebody is a hoe ass. What you trying to see is this person a hoe ass nigga? Yes or no? That's what you really trying to figure out. Is he a hoe ass nigga? Is he going to tell in this type of situation? Is he going to do this? Is he going to do that? It's a lot of things you trying to find out about your workers because they work for you. So you want to know if they solid on different ends. But just them having some paperwork is not the only way to tell if they ain't solid. That's just one way. You know what I'm saying? That's not the end all be all. The way that groupies in the internet try to make it sound is like the paperwork is the end all be all. If you got paperwork, you're a snitch. If you don't got paperwork, you ain't a snitch. Nah, that's not how it works. That's just one way for the street niggas to tell if you a bitch or not. That's it. They just trying to tell if you a bitch ass nigga or not. Will you do some bitch ass shit? That's not the only way to tell if you a bitch ass nigga, if you'll do some bitch ass shit. That's just one way. That's definitely not the end all be all. You cannot have no paperwork and still be the biggest snitch in the whole world. Them detectives could be catching your ass out in the free world, getting you in the car and just getting all the information off of you. You ain't never had no paperwork. You ain't never been in no court. You ain't never agreed to nothing. You ain't testified, none of that, but you still a rat. So that's how I can tell when a nigga is like that's how I could tell the difference between the groupies and the real street niggas. Is the groupies is always too technical about all this goofy shit they heard the streets be on. But the real street niggas don't give a fuck about none of that stuff, really. The real street cats, the real gangsters and all that, they trying to get to the bag. They trying to get some money out the streets. All that other stuff, snitching and all this stuff y'all talking about, that's always just to see if the people that you fucking with is solid or not. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff is not really no super major things like that in the street. That's more of a jail. What they be talking. You know what I've realized? What I've been noticing? A lot of the so-called street cats and the groupies and all that, they think jail is like the streets. Like they think to them, jail's like the end all be all. I've even heard some people say that if you have never went to jail, you're not a real gangster. To me, that's opposite. And I'm not gonna say that. To me, that's the opposite. You know what I'm saying? To me, if you done went to jail, if you out here claiming you a gangster and you done been to jail a whole bunch of time, to me, that takes away from your gangster. That doesn't make you a bigger gangster. It makes you a weaker gangster because you had less time in the streets to make money, to get money. And that's the whole point of the whole gangster shit, is to get money. So, I mean, unless you was in the pen just stacking it up, then that's different. But if you just kept going to the pen and all that, your whole little so-called gangster career, to me, that's you least, your gangster is least, like your gangster compared to another cat that's been in the streets the whole time and never went to jail, and he been making money the whole time on some gangster shit. His gangster is way more respected than yours. And you done been to the pen all these times and all that. You ain't really never in the streets. You never really made no real money out the gangster shit for real. You just hollering that you was a gangster and all that. You done went to pen 3, 4, 5 times. You wasn't making no money when you was in jail. Your gangster is feeble. It's really weak. It's not, you just hanging on to the fact that you a gangster because you wanted to be called that. You don't have the stats of a gangster. If you stay in the pen your whole life, you don't have gangster stats. The gangsters is the ones got the pounds moving around town. The gangsters got the drugs moving around town. The gangsters got the bras moving around town. The gangsters is moving stuff in the streets. So if the majority of your gangster career was in the pen, your resume as a gangster is weak as hell. You know what I'm saying? That's weak. Your resume weak in the hoe as far as being a gangster. You know what I'm saying? Maybe being a thug, maybe the jail shit has merit. But being a gangster, that's you taking a loss going to jail. I mean, you got caught. I mean, whatever you was doing, it wasn't Trump tight. I mean, you didn't have it set up tight to where it wouldn't take hits like that. You know what I'm saying? But as far as a thug, I'm not gonna beat up a dead horse. I'm not gonna just stay on this topic because, like I said, I don't like the gospel motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? But where I think Thug went wrong is just running his mouth too goddamn much. You know what I'm saying? Shut the fuck up. A lot of you niggas just run your mouth too goddamn much. Boosie, run his mouth too goddamn much. Turk, run his mouth too goddamn much. A lot of these motherfuckers it's like they just can't help it. They just gotta, I just gotta tell a motherfucker some shit. I got to. I get on her on these lives and all that. Maybe that's why my lives ain't as consistent. Because I don't feel like I gotta tell everybody every goddamn thing. But at the same time, you can get on her and talk and not tell everybody every goddamn thing. It's a big difference between getting on her and talking and spitting your piece versus telling everybody your business. That's two totally different things. You know what I'm saying? Because I heard Turk say, telling the truth ain't hating. No, that's just not true. That's not true, Turk. I would even say most of the time when people is hating, they is telling the truth. I would say the majority of the time when people hating, it's based on some type of truth. You know what I'm saying? It's not, hating is based in truth. Like here's a perfect example, Turk. Let's say we at the mall. Let's say me and you are friends, Turk. We at the mall hollering at hoes. Let's say we both got wives, though. We both married, but we at the mall hollering at other hoes. We trying to get a side piece, right? So let's say we at the mall. I see this bad bitch. I'm over there hollering at her, woo woo, you know, shooting my 1-2s. She grinning and smiling. She liking what I'm saying. And then Turk, you come over there and you say, "Hey fool, what your wife cooking? What your wife was gonna cook later on?" Now, in that moment, you telling the truth. I'm married. I have a wife. But you still hating because you trying to throw a wrench into my game by hollering at this bitch. You see what I'm saying? But you telling the truth because I'm married and everything. I got a wife at home. You know, that's the truth what you're saying. She is gonna cook later. She said she was gonna cook before we left. You know, she didn't tell us what she was gonna cook, so we know she gonna cook. We want to know it. So all that's true, but it's still you hating because you see me hollering at the little bitch, and you want to come let her know that I'm married and all this and that. Even though most of these hoes don't give a fuck. Sidebar, but that's hating still. Even though you telling the truth, you still hating. You see what I'm saying? So that whole telling the truth, not hating thing, no, that's just not true. You 100% can be hating and telling the truth. 100%. To me, it ain't necessarily, hating ain't a thing about necessarily if you telling the truth or not. Hating is a thing of intentions. Like, what is your intentions with saying that, you know, or doing that or whatever? What was your intentions? That's more of a hate thing, you know? Because you could have came over there and said the shit. I could be hollering at a bro, and you can come over there and say something about my wife, but your intentions might not have been hateful. You might have did on accident. Hey, I'm over there hollering at the bro or whatever. You come over and say, hey, man, your wife told, what's her name? Your wife said we need to be home by 8. You ready to go? Your wife said we need to be home by 8 because she was cooking or whatever. She said the food going to be done by 8. You might have just let that spill because you was really thinking about the food and you was trying to be, you know, be a stand-up person and all that. So you weren't necessarily, your intention wasn't necessarily to hate, even though it might end up hating because I'm trying to holler at the bitch and she done heard you talking about my wife and all that. So it might end up fucking up my little motion, but you not necessarily was intended on hating on me. You actually was really talking about dinner and, you know, really for real about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so 100% the truth can be hating, 100%. And I would even jump out there and say that most of the time when people hating, it's based in some type of truth. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, a lot of motherfuckers just talk too goddamn much. You know what I'm saying? That's basically what it boiled down to. Young Thug is one of them people that just talk too goddamn much. You know what I'm saying? Just shut the fuck up. I feel the way about a lot of people, but I'm not just gonna spill it out to somebody. I'm not, oh, this person did. You know what? Now I do talk to myself about people. I do that every day. You know, when I'm riding around and shit, I be talking to myself. Oh, this motherfucker, you know, road rage, that type of shit. I be talking about the rappers, all kind of shit when I'm talking to myself. But I don't look at that as gossip because I'm not spreading no type of false narrative or whatever, or even a true narrative. I'm not spreading no type of narrative because I'm talking to my goddamn self. So I'm not spreading, you know, whether it be true or false, I'm not spreading this narrative to other people. I think that's where it becomes flawed because most of the shit you talking about, if you gossiping and all that, you don't even know if it's true or not. So you technically just spreading some shit that probably might not even be true. You know what I'm saying? That's where I think the feminine bitch made part come in at. Because that's what women do. Women do that. Men, we kind of stand on truth for the most part. Not saying that men don't lie, we can't or won't lie. I'm saying for the most part, we stand on truth. You know what I'm saying? Women don't really stand on truth. They just say any goddamn thing. I done heard women just say any goddamn thing and then say, and when you try to check them on, they say, I was just talking. So that means they'll just talk and just say any goddamn thing, you know. So you then to expect them to be gossiping and being on bitch energy and just talking about people and doing all that type of, you then to expect that from a woman because that's kind of their character. They just goofies. That's why I be saying they can't be leaders and all that because they just naturally goofies. They naturally just gossip and do a bunch of goofy shit. So that's just the character of women. The character of men, it shouldn't. That's why it looks silly when men do it because that's the character of a woman. So when a man does it, it looks feminine. You know what I'm saying? Like, so now I don't necessarily agree with, and I'm not trying to sit there and gossip about Thug either. You know what I'm saying? I'm just addressing the shit that's on the internet, the main topics and all that. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a personal thing against any of these people. You know what I'm saying? After I turn this mic or whatever this off, I'm not even gonna be thinking about Thug or none of these people. But while I'm on here and before I leave, I did want to talk about Tootie Raw having the switch and getting caught with the switch. It's in the third. That's a federal crime. Tootie Raw done caught herself a federal charge. And for what? That's the part I want to understand is for what? For what? Why? Well, a switch is for show. That ain't even no. To me, that's dumb to even have a switch. That's not no. If you're a shooter and you trying to erase a motherfucker, I would not do it with a switch. That's the easiest way to hit innocent bystanders. That's the easiest way to miss your target. That's the easiest way to unnecessarily expound a bunch of rounds. A switch is the stupidest shit I ever heard in my life. When I heard somebody say they got a switch, I automatically know they not no shooter for real. They just putting on a show. They like a show dog. You know how they got, you know what I'm saying? They a show dog. You know what I'm saying? They not a real shooter or no real gangster or no real nothing, none of that type of shit. You for sure. Because a switch ain't no real shooter, and the real shooter would never use a switch. I was raised around a bunch of real shooters. I was raised in the Army, as I've told y'all a million times. And a lot of them is killers and real shooters. And not a one time, nobody ever glorified automatic. Like, the gun shooting. The Army doesn't even glorify that. The Army glorifies burst as far as when you want to shoot suppressive fire. The Army stopped even using the fully automatic. The Army don't use fully automatic weapons. Now let me take that back. They have fully automatic weapons, but it's not used for assault. Fully automatic weapons are used for suppressive fire. That's why a switch is stupid. Because a switch, let me tell you something. If you're using a switch, you're going to expound all your rounds in a matter of seconds. How can you, if you got an automatic, your whole point of having an automatic weapon is suppressive fire. That's not the point of an automatic weapon, is to shoot people. That's what a lot of y'all don't even understand. Or to shoot anything. An automatic weapon is for suppression. It's to suppress the enemy. It's for, if we having a shootout, right? Let's say we're in a shootout. You are over there behind the car and I'm over here behind the car. We're on two separate sides of the street. The automatic weapon, if anybody has an automatic weapon, if these were soldiers in this shootout, let me tell you what they would do. Whoever has the automatic weapon is going to shoot suppressive fire. They're not even necessarily going to be trying to hit the people. They are going to be trying to hit them, but I'm saying they know that 9 times out of 10, they're not going to be successful with hitting them because they have an automatic weapon. So they know that they're not even going to hit them. They might hit them, but that wasn't necessarily even the goal. The goal of the automatic weapon is to suppress the enemy. What does that mean? That means while I'm firing off this automatic weapon and it's sounding off how it's sounding, it's loud, continuous, threatening. It sounds like you should be fearful of it. It's going to make you want to get down behind cover. You're not going to want to stand up and see who's shooting this automatic weapon. You don't want to even see where it's coming from because it might be coming at you. So you're going to get down. That's the point. You're suppressed. You're down. You're ducking behind cover. You're suppressed. So an automatic weapon is for suppressive fire. It's not really to go out and do assaults with. Now, why the person with the assault rifle or the automatic assault rifle has you suppressed? Now, the other soldiers are going to find a way to flank you with the non-automatic weapon to actually get the kill. The kill is going to be done not by an automatic weapon, or at least not while the automatic weapon is set on automatic. It's going to be set on semi, burst, or probably not even burst, but it's going to be set on either semi or single round. Or semi is single round, so it's going to be set on burst or semi to actually go and make the kill. So if you got if somebody has like an AR-15 or something like that, and they doing suppressive fire, that makes sense. That has 30 round magazines, multiple. You know, you might have 100 rounds in that damn thing. So you can suppress down there anybody if you got it on automatic, or if you don't have an automatic. A pistol with a switch, even if it got 30 rounds, it's gonna expand it's gonna expel those 30 rounds in like a few seconds. So you might have been able to suppress those people for a few seconds. That's not gonna hold any weight in a gunfight. The only thing a switch is good for is just a walk up. You walk up on somebody and you just want to hit them with 100 rounds while they standing right there. That's all the switch is good for. It's not good for a gunfight. If you in a gunfight and you got a switch, you're doomed. Especially if the other person is a shooter and they understand what I'm saying right now. You doomed. You out of there. You can just automatically hang it up. If you got a gun with a switch and the other person is an actual shooter, it's a wrap. You can pretty much hang it up because you're not going to get any headway with that gun with the switch. I'm just saying that to say those switches, it's all rap. That's rap. That ain't even a real shooter, a real person that knows about weapons and all that. It does not glorify no switch. That's not gonna put no switch on their gun. That's just dumbest shit ever. You really taking the value away from the gun. If you put a switch on a gun, especially a semi-auto, you put a switch on a semi-automatic weapon, you are downgrading the abilities of that weapon. You're not upgrading that weapon. You are downgrading the weapon. The weapon is no longer accurate. The weapon is no longer efficient. The weapon is now a weapon of mass destruction used to do a walk-up. And that's all it's good for. So, Tootie Raw is no reason why he should have had a gun with a switch on it. For one thing, they already rich. Why in the fuck do you feel like you need to be out here wilding with guns and all that? For one, if I was Tootie, I wouldn't even be nowhere where I needed a gun. I'm rich. Fuck you niggas. If I got homeboys or whatever and they still poor, we're going to figure something else out for them. We're not going to fuck around and be selling drugs, doing no dumb shit when my dad is rich and we can actually do real businesses and we ain't got to do no dumb. Because this is what I found out when I got older. I was selling drugs, doing all that when I was younger, right? But then when I got older and I started doing regular businesses, I'm making more money than when I was selling drugs. So it's like, you can actually make more money off a legal business than you can selling drugs. I mean, when you break down the expenses of having to go to jail, having to bond out, having to pay this, getting robbed for this, getting this, that, and the third, having to put this on somebody's head, having to do this. When you weigh it all out, you're gonna net way more money. On the criminal tip, most of the time you don't net nothing because you end up going to jail. Whatever you had get took, or you end up spending it on the lawyers and all, and bail and the lawyers and all that. So if you got a legal business, a lot of the times you're gonna make money, and a lot of the times you're gonna build a business up to where it's big enough to make a lot of money. And you're going to look back on the times you were selling drugs, doing any street shit, like, damn, I make more money doing this, and this is legal. So you're going to feel stupid for even doing half the shit that you did. Because you could have just been legal the whole time and already been building on a foundation, a legal foundation. So I don't even understand why Tootie Raw would even be, just like T.I. son, they both want to walk around with guns, act like they tough and shit. They doing that because the black community damn near make you try to be tough and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it shuns like the nerds. It shuns like the intellectual. It shuns like the people that ain't on goofy time. So that's really one of the main issues is the black community is a bunch of goofies. And they hold, in a bunch of groupies, street groupies, they hold up the street shit at a high regard. And then the real things that we actually need to build our community for real, those things get shunned and talked down on. So that's probably the reason why a Tootie, I don't remember T.I. boy's name, but that's a reason why these rich kids feel like they gotta be on Goofy time. Because if they be on Nerd or Gamer or any other time, the world shuns them. And that's why I love about Kai Cenat and I Show Speed. That's what I like about them guys so much, is they showing the world, especially to the young black men, that you can be successful without being a gangster. You see what I'm saying? And still be a man, and still be masculine, and still be all this other stuff too. You see what I'm saying? And you don't have to try to be a gangster or be a criminal or none of this bullshit. You see what I'm saying? So I feel like Tootie fucking up. Like, I wouldn't even have no, for what? What I need a switch for? And then if I just gotta have a gun, I want it to be accurate. If I just gotta have a gun on me, which you probably should, because you famous or whatever. If I just gotta have a gun, I'm gonna have the most efficient weapon. I'm not gonna have no inefficient gun where I get in a shootout, I'm doomed and all this type. I expend all my rounds. Yeah, you can have a pistol and have 100-round drum in it and have all this multiple clips and all this stuff, right? But it's still a problem. You know what I'm saying? It's still, now you carry, let's say you got 4 clips on. You know how much that weighs? How much weight, add to your body? You know what I'm saying? So it's just dumb to have a switch to me. I never understood why that was even to me, that's like some rap shit that people just made popular through the rap. Because in the shooter world, that's not even a good thing to have on your weapon. That's actually kind of stupid. Fact, that ain't intelligent to have a switch. You know what I'm saying? That's really kind of like dumb in the shooter world. If you talk to any Army vet, talk to any police officer, talk to anybody that know about guns and have been shooting in their life, they'll tell you that a switch is really a con and not a pro when it comes to a gunfight. Facts. I'm finna go and get out of here, though. I got other shit to do. It's Somebody Media. I'm out.
And what's your plan, house nigga? I bet you don't even want to escape. All on Master Nut.
Killer, listen, I got a little mission. Ain't nobody tripping if Zimmerman missing. Then what? We cut him in pieces, we feed him the fishes. Them bitches want water, we grant them they wishes. Facts.